is Trivia for Kids, where it's not just for adults anymore.
Hi, everyone.
Hi!
Thanks for joining us this week for another episode of
Trivia for Kids.
Podcast. I'm Casey.
I'm Sorry, I had I'm not sure what that was.
A frog. I'm Ribbit. So we had an interesting afternoon, Quinn. You had softball practice at 3:30. I dropped you off, and there was a few sprinkles coming down, but it wasn't.
And then we played catch, and all of a sudden it got a little harder and a little harder until it felt like shards of glass were pouring down on us, and it was cold and it was
a
wet.
legit flash flood, and Quinn was at the softball diamond.
I was as wet as like if I dove into a pool. It was so wet.
She was soaked. So needless to say, practice was canceled, but not in time for you not to get soaking wet.
Exactly.
So, well, sorry about that. At least you got a shower for the day.
It's true.
So everybody makes mistakes, right, Quinn?
Yes.
And what happens when we make a mistake is that we get to learn from it. And so sometimes in this podcast, I'll talk about stuff and it'll just be something that I'm pretty sure I know the answer to. So as I'm talking fast and whatever, I've said a couple things lately that were wrong, that I didn't have absolutely right. So some people have emailed us and said, you know what? There were a couple things you said that weren't right. So I want to tell you about them because I want you guys to learn from my mistakes. So the first one was when we were talking about babies' eyes.
Yeah.
I said all babies were born with blue eyes. Not true, apparently. Some babies are born with brown, or a little bit of them are born with even other colors like hazel or stuff like that. But I was wrong. Most babies are born with blue eyes, but not all of them.
Not all of them. No.
So there you go. I was wrong. So there's the right answer. And the other one I heard about was that we said that in a wolf pack, the most dominant male is known as the alpha, which is true. But apparently in a wolf pack, there is still an alpha kind of, but really all the wolves kind of work together. They each kind of have their own place in the pack. And so really there isn't a dominant one that everybody has to listen to. They each just kind of have their own role and they work together to get stuff done, kind of like a family.
Yeah.
So that was neat to learn about a wolf pack.
Very neat.
That there isn't like a main boss. Everybody just works together. So thank you for letting us know about those things that I was wrong about. Okay, so are you ready for some jokes?
Yeah.
Because we've got two of them. The first one comes from Harper. Thanks, Harper. What did one toilet say to the other toilet?
I don't know.
You look a bit flushed.
Ha!
And the second joke comes from Adelaide and Annabelle. Thanks, girls. Why didn't anybody want more pie?
They were stuffed.
Because it was too filling.
Ha!
I always want more pie, especially if it's like drenched with whipped cream.
I love pie with whipped cream, but I'm not a fan of most. I like pumpkin pie, and I love blueberry pie.
Ooh, yes, both great choices. All right, enough with the pie. You ready for some trivia?
Yeah.
Let's do it.
Here's how the show works. Trivia for Kids consists of 5 rounds with 7 questions each. We will announce the answers at the end of each round. Each new round will have a different category. After the 5th round, we will have the final exam, which will test you on the toughest questions we have covered in the previous rounds. Everyone ready? Let's get started.
Round number 1. The category is the beach. Thank you to Nora for this idea. Thanks, Nora. Question 1. What is the most common beach material? Question 2. What can you find on the beach as a result of the death of a mollusk? Question 3. In what U.S. state was the beach ball invented? Question 4. Which type of animal finds Ariel on the beach in The Little Mermaid? Question 5. What type of sunlight can cause damage to skin? Question 6. What percentage of the water on Earth is found in oceans? Question 7. Which band from the 1960s and 70s had hits including Good Vibrations, I Get Around, Kokomo, and Barbara Ann? And now the answers to round 1. Question 1. What is the most common beach material?
Sand?
Sand. Sand, boulders, shingle, and shells are the main materials that make up the beaches, resulting in sandy beaches, pebble beaches, boulder beaches, and shell beaches. So, Quinn, you have a beach on your bucket list. Can you tell me about it?
The California Glass Beach. So, people broke bottles on that beach, and over time, the glass got into the water, and the waves and the sand went over it, and they made it super smooth. So now there's like smooth colored pieces that look kind of like rocks, but are actually pieces of glass that are just smoothed out by the waves.
So Quinn told me about this one time. She was telling me about this glass beach, and I thought it sounded a little too far-fetched. And so I looked it up, and lo and behold, it is in California. And it's some kind of glass beach. But yeah, it's made out of basically recycled glass that the ocean has turned into glass rocks. It's beautiful. So
it is.
We'll have to go sometime. Question 2. What can you find on the beach as a result of the death of a mollusk?
A seashell.
When the mollusks die, it no longer needs its shell, and the shell is shed from the body and left to float freely in the waters. These leftover proteins from the shells are found all over the beach shore. It is a family favorite activity at the beach for us, isn't it? We love looking for shells. Question 3. In what U.S. state was the beach ball invented?
Florida?
Great guess. California. A classic beach toy, the inflatable beach ball, is believed to have been invented by Jonathan DeLong of California in 1938. The original beach balls are thought to have been about the size of a hand, and now they come in all different sizes and colors.
That's so tiny.
Yeah, those were small. Question 4. Which type of animal finds Ariel on the beach in The Little Mermaid?
I know this one. The dog.
And what was the dog's name?
Max.
And who owned the dog?
Eric.
All correct answers.
Yes.
You got it. Question 5. What type of sunlight can cause damage to skin?
UV.
Yep, UV, or it's also, UV stands for ultraviolet light. Too much UV exposure can cause sunburn. The UV rays penetrate outer skin layers and hit the deeper layers of the skin where they can cause damage or kill skin cells. Too much exposure to UV light can cause skin cancer. So what should you always wear when you're in the sunshine, Quinn?
Tanning fluid.
Sunblock.
Sunscreen.
Yep, sunscreen. Question 6. What percentage of the water on Earth is found in oceans?
I learned this in science. That's 3%. I mean, 97%. The 3% is in...
Right. 97% of the water on Earth is found in oceans, which means only 3% of the Earth's water is fresh water and not salt water. That's a crazy number.
I know. So there's a lot of water, and we think that we have a lot of water. But just think that that's only 3% of the water in the world.
Question 7. Which band from the 1960s and 70s had hits including Good Vibrations, I Get Around, Kokomo, and Barbara Ann?
Well, this category is about the beach, so the Beach Boys.
Which is your favorite Beach Boys song? They've got a lot of great hits.
Surfing USA.
Oh, that was one I didn't even put in the...
I like Good Vibrations.
Everybody's going surfing, surfing USA. Barbara Ann is a great one. I do love the beginning of Kokomo. Aruba, Jamaica, ooh, I want... Great songs. Yeah. Check out the Beach Boys, people. They've got some great hits. Round number 2. The category is countries. This idea comes from listener Carson. Thank you, Carson. Question 1. Chile, or Chile, is on which continent? Question 2. What island country, popularized by a children's movie franchise, lies off the coast of Mozambique? Question 3. How many capital cities does South Africa have? Question 4. Which country is the largest cheese producer in the world? Question 5. What is the name of the only country starting with the letter Y? Question 6. Which continent contains more countries than any other? Question 7. In which country is the highest mountain in the world located? And now the answers to round 2. Question 1. Chile, or Chile, is on which continent?
Europe. Africa. Say it again.
Where's Chile located? It's in South America. Chile is the southernmost country in the world and the closest to Antarctica, stretching along a narrow strip of land between the Andes Mountains and the Pacific Ocean. That's cool.
Yeah.
I would have thought South Africa, being at the bottom of Africa, would be the southernmost country closest to Antarctica, but it's Chile. Question 2. What island country, popularized by a children's movie franchise, lies off the coast of Mozambique? You want a hint?
Madagascar.
Madagascar. Guess what my hint was going to be?
What?
I like to move it. Question 3. How many capital cities does South Africa have?
7.
3.
Oh.
They are Cape Town, Pretoria, and Bloemfontein. South Africa is fairly unique compared to other countries, as it has 3 capital cities instead of just 1. The reason for 3 is that there is 1 for each branch of government in the country. The government is divided into 3 different branches: the legislative, executive, and judicial. Interesting.
Wow.
Yeah. Question 4. Which country is the largest cheese producer in the world?
USA. USA.
That's something to be proud of. Make the most. I love cheese. Way to go, USA. Question 5. What is the name of the only country starting with the letter Y? I'll give you a hint. Chandler Bing was going to move there. I'm moving to Yemen!
What?
I know all the parents who watched Friends will get that reference. The answer is Yemen, the only country to start with Y.
Interesting.
Question 6. Which continent contains more countries than any other?
Africa?
That is correct. Officially, there are 195 countries in the world, with 44 countries in Europe, 23 countries in North America, 48 countries in Asia, 14 countries in Oceania, 12 countries in South America, and winning the most is 54 countries in Africa. I wouldn't have guessed there were 23 countries in North America. That's more than I would have guessed.
Way more.
Question 7. In which country is the highest mountain in the world located? First of all, which is the highest mountain in the world?
Mount Everest in the Himalayas.
Okay. Mount is a mountain range.
Oh.
I need the country.
Sweden.
Mount Everest is between Nepal and Tibet. So if you would have said either one of those, I would count it correct.
Ooh, okay.
Round number 3. The category is cats. Thank you to listener Quinn for this idea. Thanks, Quinn. Question 1. What cat product produces a smell through the oil in its leaves, which sends cats into a relaxed state of euphoria? Question 2. Besides its face, where else on a cat's body does it have whiskers? Question 3. True or false? Unlike a human, a cat can drink seawater to survive. Question 4. Thank you to listener Rock for this idea. You rock, Rock. What famous cartoon feline is owned by John Arbuckle? Question 5. A cat named Stubbs was elected to what position in the city of Talkeetna, Alaska in 1997? Question 6. Which part of a cat's body can appear and disappear? Question 7. Thanks to Camilla for this idea. Thank you. True or false? All Persian cats have flat faces. And now the answers to round number 3. Question 1. What cat product produces a smell through the oil in its leaves, which sends cats into a relaxed state of euphoria?
Catnip, or I think catmint?
Yep, catnip. It is called catmint as well. Question 2. Besides its face, where else on a cat's body does it have whiskers?
I don't know.
On the back of its front legs. The carpal whiskers, located on the underside of the cat's wrist, are very useful in hunting. When the cat has prey captured in her paws, the carpal whiskers help determine if there's any movement. Since cats can't see as well up close, the carpal whiskers also help determine the position of the prey. In the words of Quinn, interesting.
Interesting.
Question 3, true or false? Unlike a human, a cat can drink seawater to survive.
True?
Yes, it's true. Cats can drink salt water. While humans can't be refreshed by a glass of salt water, cats actually can be. Feline kidneys can filter out the salt from water, which allows them to consume and rehydrate by drinking salt water.
Wow.
Had
If
no
you were
idea.
sitting on a boat, I would switch. Was it kidneys? I would
Yeah.
switch kidneys with cats.
Give me your kidneys, cat. Question 4. What famous cartoon feline is owned by John Arbuckle?
Garfield.
That is correct. Question 5. A cat named Stubbs was elected to what position in the city of Talkeetna, Alaska in 1997?
Mayor.
Yeah, they elected him the mayor. However, it was only an honorary title, as Talkeetna does not have a true human mayor.
That's weird. Why would you? Because then who would make the town's decisions? Be
I-
like meow 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 meow.
Yeah, I think what happened was they couldn't decide on any human to be the mayor, and so somebody thought it would be funny. They were just not going to have a mayor at all, and then somebody wrote in that her cat should be the mayor, and they were like, okay, sounds funny.
Ha!
Question 6. Which part of a cat's body can appear and disappear?
The claws.
Cats have retractable claws. Their sharp nails come out when they climb trees or catch prey, and then they retract back into their toes. Cool.
Wow.
Question 7. True or false? All Persian cats have flat faces. You know what a Persian cat looks like? The big,
do.
fluffy ones?
Yeah.
Do they all have flat faces?
I don't think so.
The answer is false. Persian cats haven't always had the distinctive flat face, but in the 1950s, a genetic mutation caused a batch of kittens to be born with those scrunched features. Breeders took to the new look and used selective breeding to continue it. The traditional Persian cat, also known as the doll face, doesn't have the flat face silhouette. That's how Persian cats got flat faces.
Interesting.
Right? So
Right.
interesting. Round 4. The category is weather. Nolan gets credit for this idea. Thanks, Nolan. Question 1. The rising of what in the eastern sky marks the start of each day? Question 2. When the ground temperature falls below freezing and ice forms, what is it called? Question 3. What is the weather like close to the equator? Question 4. At what speed does a wind become hurricane force? 53 miles per hour, 73 miles per hour, or 93 miles per hour? Question 5. Regular cycles of weather changes are known as what? Question 6. What name is given to the center of a hurricane or tornado? Question 7. Trying to predict the weather is known as weather what? Round 4 answers. Ooh, we've got some new help to do round 4. Who's here? Brooks is here. Can you say hi, Brooks?
Hi.
Welcome. What do you know about weather, Brooks? Do you know a lot about weather?
Yes.
What just happened today at Quinn's softball practice? What did we get?
Rain so much.
It rained so much. You're right. All right. Question 1. The rising of what in the eastern sky marks the start of each day?
The sun.
Yes, the sun rises and that starts the day. Good job. Question 2. When the ground temperature falls below freezing and ice forms, what is it called?
Snow.
Ooh, that's a great guess.
Jack Frost.
Frost. Yes. Good job, Quinn. Question 3. What is the weather like close to the equator?
Thunder.
Ooh, thunder. Good guess. What do you think, Quinn?
It's very warm.
It is hot. Countries, towns, and cities located around the equator experience hot weather throughout the year. It is because the sun remains almost directly overhead every day. Countries that are further north or south of the equator experience a change in seasons when hot weather follows cold weather. Question 4. At what speed does wind become hurricane force? 53 miles an hour, 73 miles an hour, or 93 miles per hour?
93. 73.
It is 73 miles an hour. When the winds exceed 73 miles an hour, the storm is considered to be a hurricane. Question 5. Regular cycles of weather changes are known as what? What do you call when the weather changes from summer to spring to winter to fall? What are those called? The
4 seasons.
4 seasons. Question 6. What is the name given to the center of a hurricane or tornado?
The eye.
Yes.
In the eye of the hurricane, there is quiet.
Question 7. Trying to predict the weather is known as weather what? Forecasting. So, when you're trying to predict what the weather's going to be, you're going to make a forecast.
With the weather balloon.
Meteorologist Casey here. I forecast that the weather tomorrow is going to be hot.
I forecast that my room tomorrow will be pretty clean, but might be a little dirty.
Pretty clean with a chance of stuff under the bed.
Pretty clean with a chance of littered clothes.
Round number 5. This round is miscellaneous. Every question came from a different listener and is totally different. Question 1. Thank you to Hawk for this question. Thanks, Hawk. What can always be solved, no matter what position, in 20 moves or less? Question 2. This question comes from Wyatt. Thanks, Wyatt. What 1993 stop-motion film featuring Jack Skellington took over 3 years to make? Question 3. This one comes from Eli. Thanks, Eli. Who is the only National Hockey League player to have his jersey number retired by the entire league? Question 4 comes from listener Adelaide. Thank you. What southern state was the first to recognize Christmas as a state holiday? Question 5. Thank you to Annabelle for this one. Thanks, Annabelle. What children's app series contains games that encourage the player to imagine stories for characters in the game? The player can drag the character around the screen with their finger and make him or her eat, sit, etc. In the series, there are different locations the character could go based on the game's theme, like farm, town, and office. What is this app series called? Question 6. This question comes from listener Sydney. Thanks, Sydney. What Disney movie follows a lonely Hawaiian girl who adopts a small, ugly dog who is actually a genetic experiment who has escaped from an alien planet and crash landed on Earth? Question 7. Thank you, Madeline, for this one. Thanks, Madeline. What brand of lovable stuffed toys were introduced in 2017 and come in a variety of colors, sizes, animals, and textures? Round 5. Answers. This round's a little wacky, isn't it?
Miscellaneous.
Totally random. You ready?
Yep.
Question 1. What can always be solved no matter what position in 20 moves or less?
Candy Crush.
A Rubik's Cube. So listen to this. There are now blind Rubik's Cubes competitions. You are given just 10 seconds to memorize the cube, and then you must solve it. In December of 2014 in Poland, someone broke the world record by completing the cube blindfolded in just 21.17 seconds. So let's think about that.
There was a guy that did it with his toes in 10 seconds.
People and Rubik's Cubes are crazy, but blindfolded. So somebody hands you a Rubik's Cube, and you have to remember the pattern of every side of the cube in 10 seconds, and then know how to solve it blindfolded. How?
That's crazy.
I can't even solve a Rubik's Cube like completely competent, cheating with a YouTube channel, let alone
Exactly.
blindfolded. Question 2. What 1993 stop-motion film featuring Jack Skellington took over 3 years to make?
The Nightmare Before Christmas.
That is correct. The Nightmare Before Christmas is a stop-motion animation film. The actual characters were not animated, but physical sculptures that were repositioned for every single shot until they created a coherent sequence of pictures, thus stopping the sculptures and putting the shots together to create motion. No wonder it took 3 years.
I couldn't do that, like, if it took me 12.
Every motion, every movement Jack Skellington make, they had to basically take a picture, move him, take a picture, move him, and everybody else in the scene. Craziness. Question 3. Who is the only NHL player to have his jersey number retired by the entire league?
Something Gronkowski.
Wayne Gretzky!
Yay!
His number 99 is retired by all 30 NHL teams. What does it mean to retire your number? It means that no one else is ever allowed to wear that number. Some hockey players have numbers that were retired by specific teams, but Wayne Gretzky is the only number that was retired by all the teams. He is known as the Great One. He is the GOAT of hockey. He is the Michael Jordan of hockey. He is...
I didn't know that moms used the word goat.
What? I can use cool words like goat?
I didn't say you couldn't. I just said that you don't.
Question 4. What southern state was the first to recognize Christmas as a state holiday?
Alabama.
Alabama.
And Alaska, Arizona, Arkansas.
First state to recognize Christmas as a state holiday. First state alphabetically. Congratulations, Alabama.
Woo!
Question 5. What children's app series contains games that encourage the player to imagine stories for characters in the game? The player can drag the character around the screen with their finger and make him or her eat, sit, etc. In the series, there are different locations the character could go based on the game's theme, like farm, town, and office. This is called what app, Quinn?
Toca Life.
Toca Life. Toca Boca. Isn't that what it always says?
Toca Boca.
Yeah, like that. You guys like those games. Brooks likes Toca Lab and Toca Robots and
They
Toca
cost money now, and I'm like,
Toca Hair Salon. Isn't that one you guys used to play a lot?
used to, yeah.
Question 6. What Disney movie follows a lonely Hawaiian girl who adopts a small, ugly dog who is actually a genetic experiment who has escaped from an alien planet and crash landed on Earth?
Lilo and Stitch.
I've never seen this movie. There are a lot of big Lilo and Stitch fans in this world,
A lot.
and I've never even seen it. I got to put it on my bucket list,
I haven't either.
on my to-do list. Question 7. What brand of lovable stuffed toys were introduced in 2017 and come in a variety of colors, sizes, animals, and textures?
Beanie Boos.
Squishmallows.
Be more specific with that question.
I said 2017.
Well,
Beanie Boos are
you
older
could have said
than that.
like fat,
Round.
ball-shaped stuffed animals that are lovable and squishable.
Squishmallows are surprisingly soft.
My dad slept on one the other day. He was like, I felt so good. And I was like, yeah, Dory.
So, yeah, your dad took a nap the other day, and he just happened to sleep on a Squishmallow of Ren's. And then he was like, I'm going to steal Ren's Squishmallow and sleep on it at night because I slept so well on it. So he slept on a walrus the other night.
Seriously, in your bed with you?
Yep, it's in our bed right now. And now it's time for the final exam. Now remember, you've heard these questions in the previous rounds, but these were the hardest ones we've had. So use your memory and try to think back to what the answers are. Question 1. What type of sunlight can cause damage to skin?
UV or ultraviolet light?
Question 2. What is the name of the only country that starts with the letter Y?
Yemen.
Question 3. Besides its face, where else on a cat's body does it have whiskers?
On the back of its front legs.
Question 4. When the ground temperature falls below freezing and ice forms, what is it called?
Frost.
Question 5. What southern state was the first to recognize Christmas as a state holiday?
Alabama.
Question 6. In what country is the highest mountain in the world located?
Between Nepal and Tibet.
Question 7. At what speed does a wind become hurricane force?
73 miles per hour. And that's it. Goodbye, folks. See you later. Adios. Hasta la vista. Konnichiwa. No, wait. See you later, alligator.
Gotta go, buffalo. Chop, chop, lollipop. There's some
In a while, crocodile.
After a while, crocodile. There's some good ones of those. All right. I'm going to leave you with this conversation topic. Are you ready? What would you do with $1 million? Thanks for listening.
Thanks.
Please follow us on Instagram and Facebook at Trivia for Kids Podcast. And if you have a question idea or even an entire category, please email us at triviaforkidspodcast@gmail.com.